Hello and welcome to Yoga Path. My name is Jeanette and welcome to your first lesson in yoga. Before we start, I'd just really like you to take a moment to really acknowledge yourself for being here. I've heard so many people say, oh, I can't do yoga because I'm not flexible, or I'm not this, or I'm not that. So really, it's fabulous that you're here because we all have to start somewhere. So in these 5 lessons, we're going to work progressively through a series of postures that you'll commonly find in yoga classes everywhere, either in my classes or elsewhere. In today's lesson, we're going to start with a simple concept of breath and movement together. And I'm going to introduce you to Sun Salutations, which is linking several movements together with the breath and starting to warm up the whole body and all the major muscle groups. So before we get started, you will need just 2 bricks or blocks. If you don't have these at home, then you can actually grab a couple of other things. So maybe 2 big books, or maybe a couple of cans from your pantry, a couple of water bottles, something that you can place your hands on. Okay, so we'll get to those in a moment. Let's start by standing up. Take your feet just a little bit wider than your hips. So we're going to start with the idea of breathing and moving together. So take one hand on your belly and take one hand on the top of your chest. Take a nice breath in and a nice smooth breath out. And just feel what parts of your body respond to that. Take a breath in and take a breath out. Take one more and see if you can feel the belly and the ribs and the upper chest moving with your breath. Breathe in and breathe out. So conscious that your in-breath can really fill up here, here and here. Let's take that with some movement. Take the hands by the sides, have the palms facing forward. Breathe in, stretch up, look up towards your fingertips and breathe out. Slowly take the arms down and just cross the forearms in front of the heart. Breathe in, feel the belly, the ribs and the upper chest fill up. Exhale very slowly, bring the hands down and cross the forearms at the heart. 3 more times like that. Breathe in and breathe out. 2 more times. Inhale and exhale. 1 more time. Inhale, stretch up. Well done. Hopefully that feels better already. Just getting some length in the waist and the arms and nice full breath. So the second movement we'll do is on the mat, coming onto all fours in what we call cat-cow. So place the hands nice and broad, so spread the fingers apart. Place the hands onto the mat and have the hands directly under the shoulders. Have the knees directly under the hips. The hands are as wide as the shoulders, the knees are as wide as the hips. So same idea, breathing and moving together. Breathe in, lift the chest forward and then up. Look up a little bit. And then exhale, roll the hips under and look towards your belly button. Arch the spine. Breathe in. This is called the cow part of this movement. And breathe out. Arch the back. This is the cat. Like a cat who's ready to pounce on someone. Inhale. Breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in, nice and slowly. Nice controlled movement. Breathe out. 2 more times. Breathe in. Stretch the chest forward and up. Breathe out. Roll the pelvis under. Arch the spine. Look towards your belly button. Breathe in. And breathe out. Come to a neutral spine. So a neutral spine just means as flat of a back as you can find. So not sort of sagging, not arching, just a nice comfortable spine in the middle here. Okay, so let's come to the front of the mat. We'll come back to the cat-cow movement. Take your bricks in front of your mat, and depending on your hamstrings, if you know your hamstrings are a little tight, have your bricks or whatever you're using quite high. If you know you've got a little bit more space in your hamstrings, you can take them onto a lower height. So you may even adjust them as you go. See how you go. So taking the feet parallel and as wide as your hips. Just as we started, breathe in, stretch up. And breathe out. Bring the hands down, cross the forearms at the heart. Breathe in. And breathe out. One more time like that. Breathe in, stretch up. And breathe out. Bring the hands, cross the forearms at the heart. This time we're going to fold forward. Breathe in, stretch up. Exhale, bend your knees, fold forward and find the bricks. Rest your hands onto the bricks. Fold your face towards your knees. Breathe in, stretch the chest forward. And then breathe out, folding in. Stay folded in just for a moment. Have a look down at your feet. They may have shifted when you move them, so the heels may have come together or the heels may be out. So see if you can look at your second toes and line the second toes up so they're parallel to each other. And that's a good spot to take your feet. Have the knees bent and have the outer knees just moving out a little bit. They tend to want to knock in towards each other. See if you can spring them out as wide as your outer ankles. So with that, stretch your chest forward, look up. And then exhale, fold your chest towards your bent knees. Inhale, stretch the chest forward. Exhale, fold. One more time like that. Inhale, feel like your whole spine is getting really long here. And then exhale, folding in, looking towards your knees. Breathe in, look forward. And then exhale, bend the knees even more. Place the hands onto the floor and crawl yourself back onto hands and knees, just as you did before. 3 rounds of cat-cow. Breathe in, nice slow movement. And breathe out, really arch through the spine, fill up. Breathe in, feeling the whole front body stretching. And breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in, come to a neutral spine, and we'll take ourselves back to downward facing dog. Probably one of the most common yoga postures that you may already know. So make sure your hands are still nice and wide. Before we go up and put too much weight on our hands, just become aware of the index finger knuckle. It tends to want to come up. So see if you can really very consciously put some energy down into the index finger knuckle. Broaden the hands, tuck the toes under, push through the hands evenly, lift the hips. Keep the knees bent just as you had before at the front of the mat. Look back at your feet, have them parallel. Take your outer knees as wide as your outer ankles. So stay here with bent legs. Now move your chest back towards your bent knees, just as far as your ears nestle themselves between the upper arms. And breathe here. So really push down into your hands. Feel each finger in contact with the mat, and especially the index finger knuckle. So breathe in deeply, and then exhale. Lift the back of the hips up towards the roof. So you want to get a little bit of arch here in your lower back. Breathe in deeply, and then exhale. Lift the back of the hips up towards the roof. Now, depending on your hamstrings, you may be able to take the heels down towards the floor. However, if you feel you find yourself coming forward and losing that ears alongside the upper arms when you do that, then keep the knees bent. Over time, your hamstrings will get a little bit longer, in which case you can keep the ears here. So options are ears by the upper arms, bent knees, or if you can keep the ears by the upper arms, heels down towards the floor. So take some nice long deep breaths here. Breathe in deeply. Breathe out smoothly. Breathe in. Breathe out. Next time you breathe in, lift up, look between your hands and step your feet towards your wrists. Come to the bricks. Again, you take the feet parallel. Have the knees bent. If you feel like you've got a bit of space in the hamstrings, you can start to take them a little bit straighter. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift the chest. And exhale, fold. Inhale. And then exhale. Now really anchor the feet into the floor. Breathe in, push through the feet as you sweep the hands up, touch the fingertips. And then exhale, release the hands and cross the forearms at the heart, release. So that's one version of a sun salute, taking the cat-cow in the middle, really warms up the spine. So we'll take another version. We're attempting a half push-up in our sun salute and a little bit of a back bend. So this time, bring the feet together. See how that feels with the feet together. If in a moment it feels a little bit too constricted in the lower back, then you can have the feet apart. Breathe in, stretch up. Breathe out, fold forward. Bend your knees if you need to. This is the part here. If it feels too funny on your lower back, take the feet hip width apart. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Last time, breathing in here. And then breathe out. Bend the knees, place the hands onto the mat and step the knees back. Just pop the bricks aside for a moment. So this time have the knees, step them back a couple of inches behind you and really press down again through the hands, nice and even, and lower the hips so that you can feel your roughly straight thighs, hips, waist is roughly a straight line. You can leave the toes tucked under like mine are for now. Breathe in, feel like your chest is moving forward and up. And then exhale. See if you can just lower the hips and find that nice straight line. Thighs, hips and waist in a nice straight line. Breathe in, move the chest forward and up. Breathe out here. Breathe in and then breathe out. Lift the hips and send the hips back towards the heels. So you may find it's quite a lot of effort in the arms to hold yourself up that way. So take a little break, stretch back. This time we're going to breathe in, come forward and lower ourselves down. So bring the hips down, find as straight a line as you can. Thighs, hips, waist. Breathe in, stretch the chest forward and up. And then breathe out, bend the elbows, hug the elbows towards the ribs and lower the chest down towards the mat. Flatten the feet onto the mat. You might want to take one leg at a time and sort of stretch it out. Press the tops of the feet down and feel like you're lifting the front of your upper legs up and away from the mat, nice and strong. Nice broad hands, squeeze the elbows towards your ribs. Breathe in, push through the hands to lift the chest just a little bit. And then exhale, lower the chest down. This is called Cobra pose. Breathe in, push through the hands, lift the chest. And then exhale, lower the chest. Breathe in, push evenly through the hands, squeeze the elbows towards your ribs. And then exhale, lower. One more time. Inhale. And then exhale. Breathe in, push through the hands, send the hips back, tuck the toes under, send the hips towards the heels. And then exhale, come forward, lift the hips and into downward dog. So you may need to walk the feet forward a little bit. First priority is the hands, nice and broad. Second priority, stretch the chest back so your ears are in between the upper arms. And only if you can keep the ears in between the upper arms, you can take the heels towards the floor. If that action immediately has you moving forward like that, then bend the knees and keep lifting the back of the hips like you want to put your bum on the roof. And that will just really encourage a nice curve in the lower back. And little by little over the coming months, it'll really start to loosen the lower back and encourage the hamstrings to respond and get a little bit longer for you. So taking a nice big breath in here. Nice, long, smooth breath out. Breathe in deeply. And breathe out. Breathe in, move your weight forward, look between your hands and step one foot forward at a time. Grab your bricks again, either straight legs or bent legs, depending on your hamstrings. I'm going to keep my legs bent. That way I can get lots of nice natural curve here in my lower back. Breathe in, stretch the chest forward. Breathe out, fold the chest towards your knees. Inhale, lift, lengthen the spine, and then exhale, fold. Breathe in deeply, nice long, long breath, and then breathe out, fold. Standing up, push through the feet, nice even energy through the feet, nice length through the waist, look to the fingertips, and then exhale, release the arms. Very nice. So third variation, we're going to do a similar sun salute. This time we're going to go into a plank pose and lower ourselves down, or we're going to try to lower ourselves down in plank pose. So again, your choice to have feet together here or the feet hip width apart. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Bend the knees a lot and step yourself back onto your knees. You can move the bricks aside again. So plant the energy through the hands, straighten the arms, send your left leg back, stretch your chest forward. So as much as you're sending energy forward through the chest, also send energy back through the left heel. So you're one big long line of body here. Breathe in deeply. Keep this quad muscle here of the left leg really strong, and then exhale, lift the right leg and join it at the back there in plank pose. Breathe in, send the chest forward, and breathe out, send the heels back. Breathe in deeply and breathe out smoothly. Breathe in and breathe out. Very slowly lower the knees towards the floor. Sit back. So that's not the easiest move, but it's one that you can get quite easily. It really only takes a couple of weeks to get that upper body strength to hold plank. I was very weak when I first started yoga, but I was amazed at how quickly that came in. I was just doing that every day. It clicked in. Okay, so we'll try the other side. Stretch the right leg back, so chest forward, back heel moves back, and then very slowly take the left leg to join the right. So breathe in deeply, breathe out, heels, breathe in, chest moves forward, breathe out, strengthen the front of your legs, breathe in, and breathe out, soften the knees towards the floor, and stretch back. So this time we're going to lower ourselves down. We're going to attempt to do it as one big plank. If that's too much, you can drop the knees first. So we'll show you either way. So this time, take one leg, take the other leg, breathe in, and then exhale, lower the knees, breathe in, and then exhale, lower, keeping the elbows hugging towards your ribs, lower down. Breathe in, push through the hands and sit back. This time come forward, one leg at a time, back into plank. Breathe in and then exhale, lower slowly, elbows towards the ribs. Attempt to get your hips and chest to touch the floor at the same time and lower down. So if it didn't happen the first time, practice, and you'll be surprised at how quickly you can do that. One thing to be aware of with that movement is often the chest will kind of collapse and you'll be sticking your bum out here and you kind of feel like you're doing it, but even if you work with a little buddy and see if you can watch each other lower down, so chest and hips touch at the same time. Okay, so come onto the mat, roll the shoulders back, place the hands under the shoulders, lengthen the legs out behind you, 3 times, Cobra pose. Inhale, lift the chest, just a small movement. Exhale, lower the chest. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, lower the chest. Inhale, then exhale down. Inhale, push through the arms, keep the elbows squeezing inwards and tuck the toes under, lift the hips into downward facing dog. So you may have to walk the feet in a couple of inches. Again, see if you can take your ears in between your upper arms and take your knees as wide as your outer ankles. And then depending on your hamstrings, keep the knees bent or take the heels in the direction of the floor. And no worries if they don't touch the floor right from the get-go. Take one more nice long deep breath here. On your next in-breath, lift the heels even higher, look forward, step your feet between your hands, grab your bricks, straight legs or bent legs, feet together or feet parallel. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Standing all the way up, breathe in, stretch up, lengthen the sides of the waist, long arms, touch the fingertips. Exhale, release the hands, cross the forearms up the heart, and then release. Very nice. So that was your first introduction to movement and breath together, and an introduction to some variations of sun salutes. There are lots. That was just a little snippet. So I hope you enjoyed, and our next lesson I'm going to introduce you to some standing postures that you will commonly come across in most yoga classes. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much. Namaste.